Somewhere over the rainbow, birds fly over the rainbow.
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be doing a review of the 2022 movie, Lightyear. So, in this movie, legendary Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear embarks on an intergalactic adventure alongside a group of ambitious recruits and his robot companion, Socks. So before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part, so take it away, Big D.
This is the Big D back again with another collab with Overboy, and this time we're going to be talking about Disney and Pixar's other 2022 flick, Lightyear, which is a spin-off of the Toy Story franchise. First off, I was excited for this film, but anyway, when I first saw the film, I actually kind of liked it, considering what everybody else was going through. After watching it a second time, it's kind of gone down a little low for me. Now, the reason why it's gone down a little bit for me in my liking, well, from my actual spoiler-free review I did back in 2022, and that's because the story is just kind of mixed and what have you. Now, the reason why I think the story is kind of sad and low for me is because it's kind of feels like going through the same thing a few minutes in as Buzz is trying to use a new fuel composition for a successful hyperspace test and ends up failing. And soon he ends up in the future, 22 years into the future, actually, which the unknown world of Takine Prime has been invaded by Cyclops led by Zurg himself. Also, I was kind of surprised we see a different kind of, different Buzz later on, an aging old Buzz, which turned out to be, well, I won't say it because, well, if you've seen the movie, you get what I'm saying. Now, aside from the story, I will say that they did bring Michael Giacchino on board to do the score, which that's one of the things that really saves this movie and what have you. So, I'm going to say it was good. The voice acting cast is factually good and what have you. Chris Evans does the voice of Buzz. Well, he's not close to as good as Tim Allen was in the Toy Story franchise, but he tries his extreme best, though. For the rest, we have Keke Palmer as Izzy Hawthorne. She did a very good job. Pearson as Socks, a robotic cat who acts as Buzz's companion. It was really, really funny. We also have Taika Waititi, who also directed Thor: Love and Thunder the same year this came out, as the naive Mo Morrison. Yeah, it was kind of nuts. And Dale Souls as Darby Steele, an elderly woman. We also have James Brolin as the voice of Zurg. He wasn't too bad. And let's see, Uzo Aduba, if I mispronounced that, I do apologize, voiced Buzz's best friend, Alicia Hawthorne. And, well, the rest isn't too bad. I did like the animation of the film, however. Most of the animation in Lightyear was good and what have you. It did have a few humorous moments as well. However, I don't consider it to be the best of the Toy Story films, to be honest, since it's a spin-off. So, of course, this was Disney and Pixar's chance to redeem themselves after their last 3 films got into Disney+. Unfortunately, this film didn't do too well. But, of the whole, I think Lightyear was still fine. Which, in other words, let me rephrase that. It's not really one of Disney and Pixar's best in what have you. I will probably have this a little low. I'm not on my ranking what have you, so I like it a little, but not a whole lot though. So with everything said, Lightyear has a factually okay story. It has a fairly decent cast, a good score, however, and pretty good animation. So overall, it's a mixed bag for me. I'd say give it a one-time watch. So with everything said, thank you for making me a part of this, Younger Boy, like always. And until our next collab, this is the Big D saying, see ya.
Thank you, Big D. It was great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy having you on here. And I am going to go ahead and get into my part. I'm not really a big fan of this movie, so I'll just go ahead and do the positives first, get those out of the way. There's not hardly any for me with this movie. I think the animation is great. I will say that it does look really good, and everything has some really beautiful animation, and I think the character of Socks is really lovable. He's a really lovable robot character, and I really like him. And I do agree with Big D on that Michael Giacchino's score is one of the highlights of the movie. It's not really the best score that he's ever done or anything, but it's okay. But that's really, as far as positives go, that's really all that I have. I personally feel like this story absolutely sucks. I hate the story of this movie. I hate the time travel stuff that was introduced in here. It just, to me, it didn't make sense to make Buzz Lightyear someone who's just traveling in time, trying to do this thing and everything, where he's trying to save these people on this planet. And it just, to me, making him go through this time loop over and over and over again, it got really repetitive, really annoying, really fast, and everything, and I just didn't really like it. The action I don't think is very good at all. Not really any good action scenes at all throughout this movie, and the plot twist with Zurg is just insultingly bad. Like, if you're a fan of the Toy Story franchise and you know anything about Zurg and stuff, this is not the Zurg that they mention in the Toy Story movies or anything. And the big twist of him being an older version of Buzz is just flat out stupid. It's just like one of the worst twists in any Disney movie or Pixar movie or anything. Like, it just is a horrible twist. And everything. I think Chris Evans isn't very good as Buzz Lightyear either. He tries and everything. I will give him that. He does try, but he's not very good. Like, most of the time he sounds like Captain America and everything. And hearing Captain America's voice come out of Buzz just does not sound right and everything. He's not Tim Allen at all and everything. And when he does, there's other times when he's trying to be Tim Allen, like it sounds like he's doing a really bad impersonation of Tim Allen and stuff. So I really didn't like him at all as Buzz and everything. Like I said, I tried to go in without comparing them and stuff, but it's very hard not to when you're used to Buzz Lightyear since you were a little kid being voiced by Tim Allen and everything. And I even accepted Patrick Warburton as the voice of Buzz in the animated series and stuff, which to me is the actual true origin story for Buzz Lightyear. Like, I completely could understand that being what inspired Andy to want the Buzz Lightyear at all and stuff, not this and everything. Aside from Socks, all suck and have no development. None of them are really that memorable or likable. Izzy is okay. Personally, I felt like her grandmother at the beginning of the movie was a better character, but she's only in there for about the first 20 minutes or so of it and everything. But I don't really care for any of the characters, and in fact, I don't even remember any of their names. Taika Waititi is one of the voices. I think he's okay and everything. And I thought James Brolin as the older Buzz was just terrible. I don't think really any of the voice acting really impressed me or anything. And I'll say also the pacing is horrible too. Like, this movie feels slow as hell. It's like it's only an hour and 45 minutes, and it feels like it drags on and on for hours and everything. And I felt that way when I saw it in the theater and everything, and I was hoping that maybe on rewatch I would like it a little bit more, but Nope. The pacing is just as bad as it was, and the action is just so weak and lame in here. Like the big battle between Buzz versus his older self is just so lame and dumb and boring and everything. I absolutely hate it. And it tries to have an emotional start and everything with the stuff with Hawthorne and everything, but it doesn't really resonate because you don't get any time to see their friendship develop and everything. They already are established as well friends and stuff, and it doesn't really have an emotional core to it and everything. Like, I just don't really feel like their friendship was very well written and everything, and her dying and stuff for being old and stuff just didn't really hit me in the feels or anything. It's like this is like the rare time that Pixar actually felt at being able to pull at the heartstrings and everything. And there really just isn't a reason for this movie to exist. Like, we already had Buzz Lightyear Star Command, The Adventure Begins, the movie from back in from 2000. There was a direct-to-video movie that was the start of an animated series that was also really fun and everything. I absolutely love that show and movie. I might actually have to review those sometime just to get the bad taste of this piece of crap out of my mouth and everything, because I really do not like this movie. So all in all, I think Lightyear is the absolute worst thing that Pixar has ever given us. It's dull, lifeless, and boring with bad characters and a terrible villain, and just not a very good story at all whatsoever. It's nothing entertaining about it. I do not see how a kid like Andy would watch this movie and be like, oh, I want a Buzz Lightyear toy. Like, what kind of kid would want to watch this boring ass movie and want a toy from it and everything? It's definitely the lowest point that Pixar has ever had in the studio and everything, and they're the ones that made Cars 2, so that's saying something to me and everything. So I'm going to go as far to say that I'm going to give this movie a 1 out of 10. The only reason it gets a 1 is because they did a great job with the animation. You could tell they were trying to make the animation look as good as they could, and that's really the only reason it gets a 1 and everything. The animation isn't enough to save the movie or make this movie worthy of existing and everything. And this is Pixar's first really big cash grab that really failed. Like, they've had other movies that are technically cash grabs, like The Incredibles 2 and Monsters University and stuff, but those movies are actually really good movies. So this movie is just, it is horrible, and there's nothing redeeming about it. And I honestly don't know if I will ever watch this one again, even if I'm watching through Pixar's movies. I tried to give it another chance, and it was all I could do to do it. So yeah, so anyway, let us know in the comments what you think of Lightyear, and thank you again, Big D, for joining me. I'm sorry this one was a negative review, but I gotta be honest and stuff, I do not like this movie at all whatsoever and everything. And like I said, I'd go as far to say this is the worst thing that Pixar has ever given us and everything. So if I'm gonna watch Buzz Lightyear, I'll just stick with the show and movie from when I was a kid that I absolutely loved, that Andy himself would have actually loved. So anyway, let us know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.